Hi everyone. Zoe and I wanted to talk you through a really useful coaching tool called the Obstacle Analysis Grid that was created in 2006 by Neil. And this box is a really useful approach to when you're exploring obstacles or things that are getting in the way for your clients. So your client says, "Oh, I can't change jobs because," or "I can't speak up in a group environment because," and rather than them being confused or finding it hard to articulate the reasons for that, sometimes it can be helpful to give them an existing model to be able to work through their own example. So I'm going to guide you through the grid with Zoe, and Zoe's also going to share with us a specific example and how that relates to it. So if you want to follow along at home while we're doing this, you're welcome to. What you need to do is draw out a 3x3 grid. So you'll end up with 9 separate boxes. Along the top level, you'll have the 3 titles. So one is information, number 2 is skill, and number 3 is belief. And what you're going to do is you're going to score each of those. So to what extent is information about the goal or the thing that you'd like to do a barrier for you? Skills. So do you have the technical skills that are required in order to achieve your goal? And belief. Do you have all of the beliefs that you need to achieve your goal? So they're the first 3. So Zoe, do you want to talk us through an example?
Yeah, so I think one that I think is pretty common amongst people are those people who kind of came into lockdown kind of almost ready to take their next career move, and whether that be a promotion or a move outside of their organization, to find themselves actually at the foothold of a global recession and, now feel unsure about what to do with their career. So if you were going through these first 3, so the goal would be about changing the career during this current climate. So information would be, so to what extent is a lack of information holding you back from moving? So what you might find there is a client would say, well, actually, I haven't really looked into whether there are jobs available that I would be interested in, or whether my company is promoting. So you might then score that something like a 7 out of 10 in terms of information. Or you might feel that you have a decent amount of information around, you've done some research to find that, you know, there are not companies recruiting, or you can't get promotion. So you might score that what looks like a healthy 3 out of 10, but what it means is actually it's not an obstacle for you. You've got the information. You may not like the information you've got, but you've got the information. Then if you moved into skill, has that person then got the skills to be able to change jobs? They might then do an assessment of, well, I feel ready for my promotion, or actually I was going to go on this course to get this particular skill, but that stopped me. Lockdown has stopped me. I haven't been able to get it. And so you'd make an assessment there based on how much skill is getting in the way. And then belief, this is where they may need a little bit of support from you as the coach to think about, do they have the beliefs that they need to be able to move on in their job market or in their job situation? Immediately they might think, yes, I do. But actually, if you challenge a little bit further, you might find that they believe that perhaps their next job, they'll be made redundant instantly, or that they believe that keeping a secure job is the most important thing to do. They shouldn't take risks when there's so much other risk. So you can help to unpick some of those beliefs to help them make an assessment of where they sit in that belief category.
Yeah, and you can kind of evaluate the positive enabling beliefs that they have around it versus the limiting beliefs, and that might help to give the score there as well. So that's information, skill, and belief as the top row. The middle row, then we've got well-being, other people, and motivation. So well-being is around the levels of stress that you might experience, or you might perceive that you might experience as a result of going for your goal, the thing that you want. Other people is, what will the impacts be on other people, or to what extent do you need other people to help you? So if you're going to go for an internal promotion, it might be around, have you got people that will advocate for you? Do you know the people that are going to interview you? If it was going to be external, then you might score that lower because you might think, well, they don't know me and I've got a lot of competition. And then motivation. So to what extent, on a scale of 0 to 10, how motivated are you to achieve this goal? How much do you want it? If you have it now, would you take it? And then the bottom row is around time, money, and fear.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about, again, moving up in your career, thinking about to what extent do you have the time to invest in the job search, the applications, getting yourself ready, the networking, all of the different facets that are involved in your goal. Do you have the money? Now, this may or may not be relevant. So in this example, at first it may seem less relevant, but actually money can be a real motivator or blocker for some people. So to what extent is money holding you back? So it may be the need for financial security, or it may be the motivation to gain more financial security, or you may be thinking about it from a place of what do you set to lose if it doesn't work out for you. So exploring the different tangents of that. And then fear, which comes up in most goals. If you set them stretchy enough, there's going to be an element of fear, and that can hold people back. So to what extent is fear getting in the way of you actually being able to take those first steps and move forward? And I think what you'll probably start to see, certainly if you've been following along, is you can start to see where some of these quadrants will connect with each other, or also where actually what you thought may have been an obstacle isn't the biggest obstacle. So information is often one that comes up as a thing that needs to have some more time invested in it, when the real crunchy stuff is often around the beliefs or the fear or the well-being. Those are often where you need to spend a little bit more time thinking about how you can move through those obstacles, as opposed to just seeking out information which is a little bit more controllable.
Yeah, and as a coach, there's great opportunities here to ask the very simple questions, like what do you notice? What do you notice from scores? What do you notice from our conversation? What do you notice about how you're feeling as we're discussing this? And ideally then, the coachee is going to say, wow, I didn't expect that score to be so low or so high. What does that tell you about the next steps that you need to or want to take? And also it helps you to break goals down ultimately, because you'll end up then with a smaller goal as a result of this conversation, whilst also having uncovered some other areas that were unknown to the client about where they needed to do some work to really get themselves fit, if you like, to go for the goal.
Yeah, and if you're new to coaching, I think where this particular tool comes in handy, so where perhaps you're a line manager who's just starting to have more robust coaching conversations with people, or you're a new coach starting to kind of flex your skills, often clients will come with a goal, as Jo said, that isn't really broken down, but also a goal around something that isn't actually the problem. So people come to coaching because they can't achieve it themselves. And the reason why they can't achieve it themselves is there's often these hidden obstacles. And so this tool really just surfaces the hidden obstacles. So you're setting the right goal, which isn't often the thing that the client comes with, first of all.
And what we probably would do as well is we might add, maybe another 3 empty boxes, and invite the client to label those boxes as to things that might be getting in the way and get them to score those. And then that's where the client or the coachee starts to take ownership as well around gaining the insight and the goal. So there's lots of different ways that you can use this, this model, and be creative with it in service of the needs of your client, to help to empower them and to help them to grow and to really get into the heart of the issue. So anyway, we hope we've introduced a new tool to you. If you weren't familiar with it, if you are familiar with it and you thought, oh, actually I haven't used that for a while, maybe it's a good one to get out and use again.
Yeah. Thanks very much. See you again soon.